Oh, what was I thinking? So stay tuned at the end of this video. I'm going to go over what went completely wrong with this painting and where I'm going to go plein air painting in the future from this point on. Hey everybody, I'm Ken Brant and I'm an artist. So here's the scene where I set up for that day. It was a beautiful day. I just got out of work and it was a bit windy. In fact, my French easel blew over, but luckily I didn't have any paints on the canvas, on the palette or anything at the time, so no harm was done. I just set everything back up and set up. So here I am putting in my, separating the canvas into thirds, deciding where my horizon was going to be. At least I knew enough to do that, but it really didn't help in my composition because I didn't spend any time really surveying the scene and taking a look to really decide where I wanted to put things. I was pretty excited to be out there. It's the first time I've been plein air painting this year. It was the first time we had a really nice day, so I was excited and I just went right at it. So that's something I want to definitely make sure I do next time, is just take my time, really pay attention to what it is that I want to paint and where I want to put certain things. So here I am doing the water. Now the water was it did have a greenish tint to it, but there was a lot of sky reflecting into the water, and for some reason I just didn't incorporate that into the water. I should have. It's just something I don't know what I was thinking. I did see some browns. I got some. So basically, I got some raw umber in there. I'm using raw umber for the trees, and I lightened up some areas around the trees using some mixture of yellow ochre and raw umber. And here is almost some. Actually, it's some yellow ochre and some cadmium yellow light that I'm using to put in for this tree that I was considering to be my focal point and point of interest, but now looking at it, I'm like, this is just not working. But at the time, I'm thinking, oh, this is awesome, this is great. It's like I got some trees in there and it looks good, but I just wasn't concerned about the composition as much as I should have been. Now, true, when we go out and we do a painting, absolutely not every painting is going to be a masterpiece. And when you're plein air painting, a lot of times I consider my plein air paintings to be a study for something that maybe I want to do in a larger painting at a later date within the studio. And that's the other reason I like to go plein air painting. When I'm in the studio, my painting tends to get a lot more detailed. I'm a lot tighter with my painting. Because I have time to sit there and look at my reference photo, to look at my canvas, and really pay attention to where I want to place things, how I want to place my colors, and I get a lot of time to do that. When you're plein air painting, you're in a hurry. I'm not saying I'm in a hurry, but there's a lot of distractions going on, and it's just a totally different atmosphere than when you're in the studio. And this kind of forces me to be a lot looser with my brush strokes, which is something that I wish to incorporate into my studio work. I really want to become a much looser painter, because I think it's fascinating when you paint something and it's just a matter of a couple brush strokes, but yet it appears to be something very realistic and beautiful. So this is something I wish to accomplish, and plein air painting will get me, I believe it'll get me to that point in my studio work. But this painting was not going to help me accomplish that. If anything, I learned what I should not be doing when I'm plein air painting. So here I am putting in the tree work, and here I was, I'm looking at that sky reflecting into the water, but I was really just not how shall I say, I just wasn't paying enough attention to what I was looking at. You know, you need to paint what you see. You know, I got that sky in the background. There's some buildings back there. There's a water tower. There are things in the background that I really needed to incorporate into this painting, compositionally wise, that would have made it so much better. And yet I did not. I was just looking at that group of trees off to the right there, thinking that was going to be my point of interest. So I really didn't think I needed to put anything else in there to bring that out. And after, you know, much afterthought, looking at this painting, I really should have done that. Now here I am trying to put in some, you know, you can see the waves in the background because it's a windy day. So here I am trying to put those in, and this just wasn't working. I don't know what I was doing here. I thought it would be a nice effect on the water. So I was putting in some dark areas, and I was going to, you know, put some light areas underneath it, and it just, you know, even at this point, you know, while I was out there, I was like looking at it and this isn't working. So here I am just, you know, kind of smoothing it back over, thinking, well, if I leave some remnant of that in there, maybe it'll look okay. And it really doesn't. So here I am putting in some lighter areas. You know, my colors were, you know, my values were a little off. There's a green area on the side of those trees on the right that was, you know, a much brighter green, almost like a park kind of green, you know, for grass. I really didn't enhance that. There's a lot of things I should have done here with this painting that I just did not. And here, one of my other, you know, I think it was a big mistake. I don't know why I did this. You know, put these cattails in the front. I should have brought that foreground more into the painting, so it doesn't look like these things are just popping up out of nowhere. So yeah, I guess I was just excited to be out there, and you know, I was having a good time. You know, I'm out there painting. Any day you're out there painting is a good day. It's just that you really should, you know, your painting should not suffer for, you know, any other things that you got going on while you're out there, you know, distracting wise, or you know, I only had like 80 minutes on the camcorder when I was videotaping this, so I had that on my mind. So I'm here trying to paint before I run out of video. You know, the painting should not suffer because of these things. So those are the things I've learned from doing this. So the next time I'm out plein air painting, I will pay attention to these things that I found to be distracting, and hopefully make a better painting. So I hope you learned something from this. I know I did. If you know, like what you see, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if there's anything you want to add to this. Make sure you subscribe, and I will make sure that the next time we go out plein air painting, that I have a much better painting to show you at the end of this. So thank you again, and stay tuned. We'll recap on what's going on here at the end of this video. Thanks. So first things first, when I'm out there plein air painting, I am going to concentrate on what it is that I'm looking at. Spend at least 10-15 minutes surveying the scene, deciding what's going to be my focal point, what's the point of interest. Are there any elements in the painting that I want to incorporate that is, you know, maybe out of view, and you know, I might want to bring them in. Basically, you know, what I have here is, you know, I wanted this to be my center of interest. This was, it is, but it's not. I didn't put it in the right spot. Basically, my composition is not what I wanted it to be. So that is my focal point. Point of interest is key. Paint what you see. You know, there were some elements in the background, there were some buildings, there was a water tower. I should have incorporated those into this painting for, you know, just to get some background in there and create some interest. I did not do that. So paint what you see. The water. Take a look at the water. You know, I did not I did not render this water as nicely as I would have liked to have done. And the foreground, you know, these cattails just sticking up out of nowhere. You know, put a little bit more thought into my foreground based on where I'm deciding my horizon line is going to be. So these are things I need to pay attention to when I'm plein air painting and to make a better effort. So the next time I'm out, though, I will think about those things, and I will go back to this particular area and we'll repaint this scene and we'll make a better painting out of this. Practice makes perfect. So, you know, this is, you know, definitely not one of my better paintings, and I can move on from here. I've learned, and I'm going to move on from here. So hopefully you will, by watching this video, you have seen what my mistakes were, and you will learn from those as well. So together we'll become much better plein air painters. So till the next video, bye.